Welcome to Lab 2 of 7 of this series, Deploy and Use Azure Container Registry. I'm an Azure Administrator as well as an Azure Solutions Architect. In this lab, you will learn create an Azure Container Registry ACR instance, tag a container image for ACR, upload the image to ACR, and view the images in your registry. Hey, welcome to Lab 2 of 7 of this AKS series. This lab is called Deploy and Use Azure Container Registry. A little background on what Azure Container Registry is. An ACR, or an Azure Container Registry, is a private registry used for container images. A private container registry lets you securely build and deploy your application in custom code. In this lab, part 2 of 7, you will deploy an ACR instance and push a container image to it. So you will learn what? Well, you will learn how to create an Azure Container Registry instance, tag a container image for ACR, upload the image to the ACR, and then view your images in the registry. In additional labs, we're going to use this ACR instance with the Communities cluster in AKS. And an application is deployed from that image. Before we begin, this is lab 2 of 7, so make sure if you're following along, you completed the first lab, creating your container image. Also, this lab requires Azure CLI version 2.0.53 or later. You could run the AZ --version command to see what version you have. Alright, so let's get started here. Before we could create the ACR image, you need a resource group. And you can see I gave the command to create the group. I'm calling my group AKS-REG, and I stuck it in East. Next, going to create a container registry instance using the AZR create command. The registry name, a little couple facts here, must be unique within Azure, contain 50 to 50 alphanumeric characters. And we're going to use the basic SKU, which is a cost-optimized entry point for development purposes. So that should work out well for us here. So I'm going to go ahead and run this command. It's going to create my registry instance, and you can see my name of my registry is here, and I'm using the basic as I noted before. Alright, looking pretty good. If you care to see what it looks like in the portal, I have my instance here, and I will go into my resource group. Of course, doesn't show up yet because of the delay. Let's do a refresh, and there it is. So pretty good. Now, before we can use the registry to actually log into it, to actually upload an image to it, we have to log into it. So let me go ahead here and clear the screen and click on this command, and this is the login command. So login succeeded. Very good. Now we want to see, if you're not familiar with Docker or just beginning with Docker, if you want to see what Docker images you have available to you that you may have downloaded, that's what we did in the very first lab, was we cloned or downloaded a Docker image from the Docker Hub. So let's say to view Docker images local. We're going to say Docker images. Very complicated. I'll highlight that. And I'm going to have a little more than you might have. But these are the two that we care about. I need to do some cleanup. But you want to have these two, and that's if you don't have those, you probably weren't successful with the first lab or didn't do the first lab. So go ahead and go to the first lab, or just follow along here. Again, one note I mentioned the first lab was while we'll have this series, we'll have a series of how to create your own AKS environment. So that'll be coming up. Okay, next we want to tag our local Azure Vote front image. So we're talking about this right there. Because that, in order to upload it to our private, we have to tag it so we know which one to pull. So, but before we do that, we have to get our ARC login server address. So that is his first command. Alright, so here it is. I'm going to highlight that and do a Control C. And then I can put that right here in this command. Backspace a little bit. And there we go. What happened there? Let me do an undo. I don't think I got it. There we go. Copy. Paste. How about that? So now this is gonna tag our image, and you'll see something show up here in a second. So let's run this. Let's run our Docker images, and you can see now you have that image, and that's the one we're going to upload to our private registry. If you didn't want to use this command to get the value here, you could have gone to the portal, and all I did was click on my resource group here, wait a little bit, make sure I was in the overview, and then here's your login server name here, so we could have just copied it that way. Probably a little easier to do that, but just trying to do everything via PowerShell. So let's go ahead and minimize this, and notice that we have our image. So everything going quite well here. Very pleased. Okay, now for the exciting part. I've added some more commands here. We have our image tag that we want to push. So now we're going to push the tag image to the ACR instance using the Docker push command. So let's go ahead and clear the screen down there. Run this command. And we'll see some waiting and pushed. So I'm just going to let this run so you can see the whole thing. It doesn't take very long. And if you've never seen this done before, might be somewhat entertaining. If not entertaining, perhaps interesting. It's actually taking longer than I thought, so I'm going to pause the video and then come back. Okay, it finally finished. And to see a list of those images, run this command here. This is the name of my registry, and you can see that from right here. So I'm going to run this command. And as expected, it returns one application, one image. You can also see that image, I do believe, from our registry here. How about here? I think that'd be a logical place where it would be shown. And there it is. I'm not sure what's going to happen here. Let's click on it. And V1. And then here's the manifest. So that's pretty cool. Alright, so let's go back to our PowerShell interface here. Okay, so now you have a container image that is stored in the private Azure Container Registry instance. This image is going to be deployed from the ACR to a Kubernetes cluster in the next lab. In this lab, just as review, we created an Azure Container Registry and pushed the image, which we're going to use in the future for our AKS cluster. So I hope you join me for that lab, and I hope you enjoy this lab. And if the spirit moves you, subscribe to my channel. Thanks a lot. Talk to you guys later.